show to you. See if you can see that. It says go run. I felt the Lord behind it because I was in the word and my eye just shifted and the Lord was saying go run, and I felt like it's a word he wants to speak to his people, and both women and men, but there's something on the women with this word, and I'm going to share with you about the painting that I did toward the end, which connects with this, which is random because the word came to me this morning and I did this painting years ago, but the word is go run. And so I want to just tell you something. You know, this is from the word of God. When Jesus had been crucified and he was in the tomb, and there was a big stone that was rolled in front of him, and everybody disappeared from him. His disciples were gone, the women were gone, everyone was gone. He was, you know, in the grave. And then it talks about the word, you can read this up, it's in Mark 16. These two women came, I believe there were two of them, and they had this urge inside them. There was this sense like we need to go to the body of Jesus and we need to put spices and preserve his body and do what is right. And you know, I'm just going to tell you, I don't know if you've been ever in a time of your life where you know what the right thing to do is, but you don't know if it's God. You don't necessarily feel God on it, but you know it's just right. You know, these women were bewildered. They were puzzled. This was Jesus, their Messiah, who was killed. It was like their life just got ripped out of them. And so they didn't know what to do. They didn't know what was coming next. But they just knew, okay, what is the right thing for us to do right now? Oh, okay, we're going to embalm his body because that's what we do with respect and honor. So we're just going to do the right thing. And so, listen, there's a word on this, guys. There's a word on this because sometimes in life, we know, we don't know what God is saying, but we know the right thing. We just know the right thing. It may not feel spiritual. It may be super practical. These women did this. It was super practical for these women. They just were going to embalm his body. There was nothing spiritual about that. But listen to what happens. It says, as they were walking toward the tomb with their spices, they said to one another, who's going to move the stone away? Like there's this huge big stone and we're just two women. Like how are we going to move the stone away? But it doesn't say that they turned away and just walked away. It says they moved forward. They moved forward into doing what they felt was the right thing, but they didn't know how they were going to do it. And there's seasons in our life where we just know this is the right thing. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm just going to do it because it's the right thing. And I don't know if they actually felt the Lord on this. I don't know if they even felt the Lord, because if you've been through a season in your life where you're in between seasons, sometimes it's hard to feel the Lord. It's hard to discern what God is saying. And they were right in between the season of history where God had given his life and he was about to resurrect. And I don't know if they heard the voice of God, but they internally were hearing, let's just move forward. Okay, so this is what happens. As they get to the tomb, they see this angel had come and moved the stone away. And so it says there that they were bewildered. And guys, I just want to tell you, first of all, when God has called you to do something and he has said, go, run, do something, move forward into something. But you can see there's a stone wall in front of you. Guys, the Lord is going to send the angelic to help you in your assignment, because the reality is if you are on an assignment that the Lord has breathed on, God will always send angelic help. He will send the supernatural. He'll send other people. But God will always surround your assignment with the supernatural. And sometimes we will not walk forward until we see that it's possible. But we know in the word that the Lord says, move forward when I say move forward, and I will release heaven to open the way for you, which is what happened to these women. But for many of us, there may be a sense, I know, I feel, I think I'm supposed to do this. It's the right thing to do, but I don't even know if God's on that. Guys, I believe this is where these women were. And then they saw the angelic come and they realized, oh, hang on. The thing that was the right thing to do in my brain, but I couldn't maybe feel it in the spirit, that was the voice of God. Guys, the voice of God sometimes comes in ways where we can feel him, where we know, wow, this is God. But sometimes the voice of God will come and we'll just know it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do, so I'm just going to move forward in this thing because it's the right thing to do. And God is on that because he speaks through integrity. Guys, I have had decisions in my life. I remember 2 specific decisions where I did not know what to do. I wasn't hearing the Lord. And I just, in both decisions, I thought, okay, what is the right, like the really right thing to do? Because you know, when we have times where we have 2 decisions, the one feels right and the one feels, no, this is really right. And I found, like in both those decisions, I was like, I'm just going to go with what I know is the most highest form of integrity in this situation. In both those situations, once I had decided that and did that, I saw God break in. And so someone's waiting for God to give us some powerful, expression of his presence. And simply it's this, I'm going to do what is the most integrity thing to do right now. And God is on that, and he's going to back it up with supernatural signs and wonders, which he promises as we walk in his ways to follow us with signs and wonders. Okay, so I just want to tell you, that's the first thing I want to tell you. Go run. Don't be afraid of what God has said to you. Don't be afraid of making a fool of yourself. Go run. That's what these women did. They went and they did something when all the disciples were back doing something else, probably mourning or just knowing not what to do. These women just heard, we're just going to do the right thing. We're just going to embalm his body. We're just going to do the next thing. And sometimes all you need to do is the next thing. Because when you do the next thing, God's going to back that up. And, life is not always about, oh, wow, God's just done this amazing thing. This is what I must do. Oh, and I must just do this. Sometimes, many times, God will just lead us by our integrity. Like, I'm just going to do the next thing that I know he's called me to do. And his angels are actually going to reveal to me, wow, he's going to send angels to move a stone, to move a wall for me. So guys, I'm going to encourage you, if you're on this, move forward in what God has called you to do. That's the word I received this morning. Go run. It's not like just move forward slowly. Just go for it. Do it. What these women didn't know, here's the kicker about the story. They thought they were doing the right thing to go and embalm his body. But God was using their hearts of integrity to move them in the right direction. So God will use your heart of integrity to move you in the right direction, even if that direction is not leading you to where God has you. So listen, these women, they're moving in the right direction because that's what the integrity of their heart says. Let's embalm his body. But God had another plan for them. They weren't going to embalm his body. God needed them to get to the tomb because he wanted to use these 2 women as his witnesses that Jesus is alive and that the tomb has been opened. He led them there to be his witnesses. Guys, he led them there so they could be a voice to run back to the disciples and say, he is alive. They didn't know that's why they were going, but they listened to the word of the Lord. Go, move forward. They knew there was a stone in front of them, but they were like, we're just going to do the right thing. So guys, I encourage you to do the right thing, because in retrospect, we look back and be like, yeah, that was the right thing. But we never know it at the time. We never fully understand this is God. But guys, go with the integrity of your heart, and God will move on the integrity of your heart. Okay, so that's the first thing I want to tell you. The second thing about the story and about this word the Lord gave me is when Jesus appeared, okay, he appeared, the first person, he actually didn't appear, there are different accounts in the scriptures, but it looks like the first person that he actually appeared to, because these 2 women saw angels, they didn't see Jesus, but Jesus actually appeared to Mary Magdalene. That was the first person he chose to appear to. Guys, and I don't know if Mary Magdalene, I think she might have been the first one at the tomb. She might have been with those women. Honestly, I don't know the details. But I know this. She was the first person, the word says, that he appeared to. And you know what it says about Mary Magdalene? Guys, listen to the woman that he chose to make his witness. He said this. It says this. He appeared to this woman that he had driven out 7 demons. Guys, if you were to look at her life from human terms, she was the least person that God would have chosen to be her witness. Guys, this is not just like, hey, I'm just going to use this woman as a witness that I have, driven out demons out of her life. Like she's free. No. He was like, I'm going to take this woman who probably had the least impact in society. Like she was the least trusted person, maybe. Let's put it this way. She was least trusted in her community because she had demons. She was demonized to the point where she was incapacitated by these demons. And he was like, I'm going to choose this woman who nobody has trusted. She's lived a life of sorrow and torment and prison. And he came and he delivered her from these demons. That was the first act he did, guys. I'm just going to tell you right now that the revival God is doing right now is a deliverance revival. That's his first sign of it. It was the first thing that Jesus did is he appeared to the woman that he had freed from demons. And he held her up and he said, I, the living God, am going to trust this woman's testimony to say that Jesus is alive. And I just want to tell you that is the most important testimony, guys, in the world, that we know that Jesus has risen from the dead. There's no more important testimony in the world than Jesus has risen from the dead. And Jesus entrusted this level of a testimony to the most untrusted woman. She was the one who was demon possessed for years. And he chose to trust her with the treasure of heaven. Wow. That is insane. And he gave her this witness. Guys, we're getting to something. This is not just about that. Listen to where we're going. It's about Jesus building his church. So listen to this. So he comes and he tells, she's the first person. He says like this, go tell him, like, I'm alive. Go tell my 12. Okay, so she's given this instruction, like, go and tell my disciples, like I'm choosing you as this witness. And they should believe you. Jesus expected his disciples, these men who had seen the miraculous, he expected them. There was an expectation that they would believe the no-name woman, the woman with no name, the woman with no reputation. She was freed by Jesus, but she had a history. And he did not raise up Nicodemus. He did not raise up Peter. He did not raise up any of these great people as the witness for his resurrection. He raised up the no-named lady who was demon-possessed in her past. And he expected the disciples who had walked with him to believe her testimony. He not only appeared to Mary, the other person he appeared to, and the other lady, I don't know how many women there were, so you just go check your Bible on that, don't check me, were the two men walking on the way to Emmaus. He appeared to two nobodies. It doesn't even tell you who these guys are. We do not know who these men were. There were two guys just walking on the road talking about what had happened in Jerusalem. He chose to use these two unnamed men as his witnesses. And then it says after that, I get goosies, guys, as I share this. He then went to the 12 and he appeared to them. And it says he rebuked them for not listening to the woman and to the unnamed ones. Guys, why did he rebuke them? And why didn't he appear to them first? Guys, because, listen closely, this is a key. We have to understand what God is building. Because when Jesus was in the form of a human man, when he came in the form of a man, he made himself by God's power. He was not, he didn't make himself, he in meekness withdrew himself so that he would be a man, God in a man, so that he was no more omniscient. Omniscient means everywhere at once. He was no more everywhere at once. He was in a human body. This is what Jesus chose to do, right? So in that omniscient state, non-omniscient state, where as a man, he chose 12 humans to walk with very closely and to teach them about life and ministry. He would have done it with everyone like he does today, but he was in the human flesh of a man. Now, in his resurrected state, he's going to be glorified to the Father, and he's about to take back everything, which is the omniscience, which means he will be with everyone like he was with the 12. He was building his church, and he was now shifting the seasons, and he was telling his 12 disciples, he was rebuking them. He was like, guys, he was basically in essence saying, I appeared as a witness. I entrusted my witness to the unnamed ones, the woman first, not just any woman who was already downtrodden in society, but the woman that had been demon possessed. But she was a believer. I entrusted my testimony to the unnamed believer. And I have an expectation that the 12 of you, you disciples, understand that in the season where I'm breaking the old wineskin and I'm releasing the new wineskin, that you understand that the unnamed believers, the ones who they're not famous, they maybe have been delivered of thousands of demons, but those ones who know me, I will witness to them and give them prophetic words and testimonies as much as I'm going to be witnessing to those that are called into the fivefold ministry. I will be witnessing to everyone. And so guys, here is a very important key. Jesus is building his church. The gates of hell will not prevail. And your testimony and your witness of Jesus in your life, you don't have to be famous. You don't have to be known. You don't have to have any title over your life. Guys, you can have had the experience of Mary Magdalene. You can have been delivered of thousands of demons. You could have a terrible past. But you, as a believer in Jesus, with a testimony of Jesus, that testimony is entrusted to you. Do not doubt that. Go and run. Remember, this is the word I got this morning as I showed you earlier in this video. If you just joined, go back later and check it out. But go run. Is that... Yeah, I don't know if you can read this backwards. But anyway, go run is what God said to me. He's like, you need to tell, you guys, you who are listening, and me, Mandy, as well, move forward and run with the testimony, with what God has done in your life. That is the testimony, the witness that is given to you. Don't think, I can't do this. Do not think I can't do this. Because those women, they were two women, and they were like, we cannot remove the stone from the wall of this tomb, but we are moving forward in our integrity. And they moved forward in their integrity, and when they got to the stone, the angel had removed it, as I had said earlier, as I shared the story earlier. Guys, if you haven't heard the earlier story, listen to it, because it is life-changing. Guys, this is a season to go and run. He's not saying, walk cautiously ahead. He says, run. You have the witness. You have the testimony. You know Jesus is alive because of what he did in your life. And so go run with it, whatever that looks like. Guys, there is no box for this. There is no box. Clearly, in that story of Mark 16, Jesus broke every box that we had, every box the disciples had. There was no more box now. Guys, if you're a woman, if you're unnamed, if your ministry right now, if what God is calling you to do is do something weird, like, I don't know, start a business. Like if he's like, I want you to start a business, and I want this business is going to carry the testimony of Jesus, but I want you to bring that into your community. Guys, this is not like in a box, like this is what it looks like for you. You discern, like those women discerned what God has for you. They discerned, we need to embalm Jesus. It was just a practical thing. It wasn't spiritual. They didn't hear a word from heaven. It was the integrity of their heart. They went forward when they knew there was a stone, and that's where God opened up the supernatural, gave them the witness of heaven, and said, go run with this. So guys, I just encourage you, run with what God has put inside you. There is great things inside you. Don't doubt. Remember, the accuser comes to shut you down, but God comes to bring you life and life abundantly. So God bless you. Thank you so much for listening. Have an amazing day. God bless you guys. Thanks guys. It's so good to see you. Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm seeing. Thank you guys. I actually love this. And I'm looking at everyone that's on, guys. It's so wonderful to see you. I know who you are, but I can't remember who your Instagram names are. So anyway, love you guys. Oh, I was going to show you my painting. I'm sorry. I'm going to show you this painting. There is this woman. It's actually called Northwind, I think. I can't remember the name of this painting. But she's being blown by the Spirit. Isn't that amazing? That's why her hair is blowing. She's blown by the Spirit. Guys, that is what... And these protea flowers, they're symbolic of the cloud of witnesses above her, and the angelic realm and the heavenly realm just blowing and just saying, yes, go, 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 go. We've gone before you. Go, 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 go. Go to the finish line. The wind is going to blow. You're not going to someone's no. But move forward. Move forward with what God is saying. Obedience is so important. So important to go with the wind. So guys, you go with the wind. You have an incredible day. God bless you. Bye-bye.